Welcome back to our channel, your ultimate destination for the most profound explorations of daytime television's gripping narratives. Today is a spectacular day to dive deep into the psychological landscapes and heartbreaking twists unfolding on our screens. We are thrilled to bring you an exclusive analysis of the latest shocking developments in Los Angeles. Let's delve into the drama. The halls of the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer residences have seen their fair share of tragedy over the decades, but the current storyline gripping the heart of Los Angeles introduces a uniquely devastating and deeply personal flavor of sorrow. Daphne Rose Walton, a woman whose heart has always overflowed with warmth, compassion, and an undeniable maternal instinct, finds herself trapped in a suffocating, inescapable nightmare. The dream of motherhood, once a vibrant, beautiful, and shared vision with her devoted husband Carter Walton, has slowly morphed into a haunting, mocking specter. Every passing month has brought a fresh wave of quiet disappointment, but the recent, definitive diagnosis from her fertility specialist has delivered a fatal, crushing blow to her deepest hopes. The clinical coldness of the doctor's words confirming severe, complex, and seemingly insurmountable infertility has shattered Daphne's spirit entirely, leaving her adrift in a vast ocean of profound, silent grief. She walks through her beautiful home like a ghost, her eyes constantly drawn to the empty room that was meant to be a vibrant nursery, a space that now echoes only with the agonizing, deafening silence of a child that may never arrive. Beside her stands Carter Walton, a man globally recognized for his unwavering strength, his razor-sharp legal brilliance, and his boundless capacity for love and loyalty. Yet, in the face of his beloved wife's crumbling mental state, Carter finds himself entirely, horrifyingly powerless. He has built a formidable career on fixing complex problems, negotiating impossible contracts, and finding logical, elegant solutions to corporate disasters. But there is no legal loophole, no brilliant argument to bypass the cruel, unyielding reality of biology. Carter watches with a breaking heart as the vibrant, joyful woman he married slowly fades away before his very eyes, replaced by a hollow, fragile shell consumed by an all-encompassing sorrow. He offers endless, desperate reassurances, holding her tightly through the long, tear-filled nights, whispering fervent promises that their love is enough, that they will find another way to build a family. But his words, no matter how tenderly spoken, fall on entirely deaf ears. The biological imperative and the profound, visceral emotional yearning within Daphne have created a massive, dark void that no amount of spousal devotion or logical alternative can fill. Carter's helplessness is a profound tragedy in its own right, a poignant, heartbreaking reminder that love, no matter how pure or strong, cannot always conquer the deepest physical and psychological wounds. He is a man accustomed to being the pillar of strength, the steady rock in a stormy sea, but now he finds himself drowning alongside his wife, unable to pull her back to the surface. The silence in their home is no longer peaceful. It is heavy, pregnant with unspoken grief, and the terrifying realization that their lives have been irrevocably altered by a medical verdict they cannot appeal. The emotional toll on their marriage is immense, an invisible weight that threatens to crack the very foundation of their once unshakable union. In the dramatic, high-stakes world of soap operas, tragedy rarely exists in a vacuum. It is almost always juxtaposed with a shocking, seemingly impossible twist of fate designed to twist the narrative knife even deeper into the characters' hearts. Just as Daphne reaches the absolute, rock-bottom nadir of her despair, a seismic, catastrophic shockwave rocks the foundation of Los Angeles. Sheila Carter, the notorious, unrepentant villainess whose very name is synonymous with manipulation, destruction, and terror, drops a bombshell that reverberates through every household and corporate office. In her desperate, highly calculated bid to tear Deacon Sharp away from Taylor Hayes and reclaim his heart for herself, Sheila publicly and triumphantly announces that she is pregnant with Deacon's child. This revelation is nothing short of explosive, a masterclass in soap opera timing and narrative cruelty. Sheila's announcement is a cruel and twisted narrative stroke that places the ultimate miracle of life directly into the hands of a woman who has spent decades systematically destroying the lives of everyone around her. Sheila, who has been maintaining a terrifying, week-long silence while meticulously crafting her under-the-radar sabotage plot, now wields the ultimate, undeniable weapon: a new life, a permanent, biological tether to the man she obsessively desires. She parades this news not with the quiet reverence of an expectant mother, but with the smug, victorious gleam of a predator who has just secured her prey. The sheer audacity of her claim, combined with the devastating implications for Deacon and Taylor's future, sends the entire canvas into a state of chaotic disbelief and profound anxiety. The thematic contrast presented by this storyline is absolutely breathtaking in its cruelty and its dramatic brilliance. On one side of the canvas, we have Daphne Rose Walton, a woman of grace, kindness, and unshakable moral fortitude, who would undoubtedly provide a loving, stable, and incredibly nurturing environment for a child. She is denied this fundamental, deeply desired human experience by a random, heartless biological lottery, left to mourn a future she can never have. On the exact opposite side, we have Sheila Carter, a convicted criminal, a master manipulator, and a woman whose maternal track record is littered with severe trauma, abandonment, and profound dysfunction. The universe, in its infinite, baffling, and seemingly sadistic irony, has bestowed the ultimate gift of fertility upon the wicked, while entirely withholding it from the righteous. This stark, unforgiving dichotomy is not just a clever plot device. It is a profound, deeply unsettling exploration of the perceived injustices of life, a narrative that forces the audience to grapple directly with the fundamental unfairness of the human condition. It is a bitter, jagged pill to swallow, and for Daphne Walton, it proves to be the ultimate catalyst for a catastrophic, terrifying psychological unraveling. The exact moment Daphne learns of Sheila Carter's pregnancy is a masterclass in psychological horror and emotional devastation. Imagine the agonizing scene. Daphne, already incredibly fragile, already teetering dangerously on the edge of a dark abyss, perhaps sitting alone in the very nursery she can never fill, clutching a tiny, unworn garment to her chest. The news arrives, perhaps through the relentless gossip mill of Forrester Creations, perhaps a casual, unaware mention by a friend, or a sensational, glaring headline on a tablet. The impact is not merely emotional. It is intensely visceral. It is not just sadness that washes over her. It is a violent, physical reaction that knocks the breath from her lungs. The air is instantly sucked from the room. The cruelty of the universe suddenly manifests as a tangible, suffocating weight pressing down upon her chest. How can this possibly be true? How can a certified monster like Sheila Carter, a woman who has shot people in cold blood, kidnapped innocent children, and terrorized entire families for sport, be blessed with a miraculous child, while Daphne's body remains a barren, unforgiving wasteland? The sheer, unadulterated injustice of it snaps something fundamental, something vital within Daphne's psyche. The grief that had previously been a quiet, weeping, internalized sorrow instantly hardens into something sharp, jagged, and infinitely more dangerous. This is the precise genesis of a truly terrifying, unprecedented transformation. The profound, paralyzing depression that had immobilized Daphne now mutates violently into a toxic, all-consuming, highly radioactive envy. This is not the fleeting, understandable jealousy one might feel when a close friend announces a pregnancy. This is a dark, corrosive, soul-destroying obsession that begins to rapidly eat away at her established moral center. Daphne cannot look at the world the same way anymore. The lens through which she views reality has been permanently cracked. Every pregnant woman she sees on the glamorous streets of Los Angeles becomes a walking, breathing insult, but Sheila Carter rapidly becomes the ultimate, glowing symbol of her cosmic punishment. Daphne's internal monologue, once filled with desperate, tearful prayers for a medical miracle, now becomes a relentless, deafening loop of bitter, acidic resentment. She begins to view Sheila's pregnancy not as a biological event, but as a deliberate, personal taunt from a sadistic, uncaring universe. The overwhelming unfairness of it all becomes the only reality she can perceive, entirely blinding her to the love, support, and beautiful life that still surround her with Carter. Carter Walton, ever observant and deeply attuned to his wife's emotional state, begins to notice the chilling, undeniable shift in her demeanor. The constant tears have abruptly stopped, replaced by a cold, calculating, eerie stillness that terrifies him far more than her previous, agonizing weeping ever did. He sees the way her eyes darken into a stormy, unrecognizable shade when Sheila's name is merely mentioned in passing. He notices the subtle, disturbing changes in her daily routine, the unexplained, lengthy absences from their home, the secretive, hushed phone calls, and the sudden, obsessive monitoring of social media or news outlets for any information related to Deacon Sharp and Sheila Carter. Carter desperately tries to intervene, trying with all his might to pull her back from the dangerous precipice she is walking upon. He attempts to reason with her, gently reminding her of who she truly is, of the strong, ethical values they share, and of the immense danger of letting such dark bitterness consume her beautiful soul. But Carter is fighting a terrifyingly losing battle against a woman who firmly believes she has absolutely nothing left to lose. He is a man forced to watch a slow-motion, catastrophic train wreck, entirely incapable of hitting the brakes or altering the devastating trajectory. His desperation grows exponentially as he realizes that the gentle woman he loves is rapidly slipping away, replaced by a dark, avenging angel fueled by misplaced, righteous fury. Daphne's rapid descent into darkness is marked by a terrifying, deeply ingrained internal justification. She absolutely does not see herself as a villain in this narrative. She sees herself as an appointed agent of cosmic justice, a necessary equalizer in a broken world. In her twisted, grief-stricken, deeply flawed logic, Sheila Carter simply does not deserve the privilege of being a mother. Sheila is a known, documented threat, a severe danger to any innocent child she brings into the world. Daphne convinces herself, with chilling certainty, that by actively interfering with Sheila's pregnancy, she is not committing an act of malice or jealousy, but a heroic act of ultimate protection. Daphne believes she is righting a profound wrong that the universe was too blind, too incompetent, or too cruel to fix on its own. This intense rationalization is the absolute hallmark of a beautifully complex, deeply layered soap opera antagonist, the inherently good person driven to commit unspeakable, shocking acts because they genuinely believe their underlying cause is ultimately just and necessary. Daphne's moral compass, previously pointing steadfastly and reliably toward kindness, empathy, and the law, has been heavily magnetized by her overwhelming, unhealed pain, spinning wildly and uncontrollably out of control until north becomes south, right becomes wrong, and love becomes hate. The meticulous planning stages of Daphne's sabotage are where the narrative tension reaches agonizing, unbearable levels. This is no longer just a heartbreaking story about infertility and grief. It has rapidly evolved into a high-stakes psychological thriller. Daphne, utilizing the formidable intelligence, sharp wit, and resourcefulness that once made her so successful in her professional life, begins to meticulously, quietly plot her dark revenge against the universe. She studies Sheila's daily habits, her scheduled medical appointments, her known vulnerabilities, and her movements around Los Angeles. She becomes a shadow, a silent observer, gathering ammunition for a war no one else knows is happening. Perhaps Daphne considers subtly tampering with Sheila's prenatal medication, or perhaps she plans to orchestrate a highly stressful, terrifying situation designed specifically to induce a catastrophic medical crisis. The exact specifics of her dark plan are shrouded in malicious intent, but the execution is undeniably methodical and chillingly calm. Daphne moves through the bright, glamorous world of Los Angeles like a dark, creeping shadow, a stark, terrifying contrast to the glittering environment of Forster Creations and Spencer Publications. She is a woman on a singular, destructive mission, entirely consumed by a goal that threatens to destroy multiple lives, including her own. The dramatic irony of this impending, explosive collision is thick enough to cut with a knife. Sheila Carter, the woman who has spent her entire adult life ruthlessly plotting, scheming, and destroying the happiness of others, is now, shockingly, the vulnerable, unsuspecting target. For perhaps the first time in her chaotic life, Sheila might actually be trying to protect something pure. Even if Sheila's initial motivations for the pregnancy were entirely manipulative and designed solely to trap Deacon, the life growing inside her represents a genuine, undeniable vulnerability. And Daphne, the innocent, heartbroken victim of a cruel biological circumstance, has shockingly become the apex predator. The traditional soap opera roles have been entirely, dizzyingly reversed. The audience is forced into a highly uncomfortable, deeply conflicting position. Do we root for the grieving, infertile woman who is about to commit a heinous, unforgivable act, or do we root for the notorious, bloodthirsty criminal who is finally experiencing the fragile vulnerability of motherhood? This profound moral ambiguity is the absolute pinnacle of daytime drama, forcing viewers to confront the darkest, most hidden corners of human nature and the terrifying, unpredictable lengths to which unhealed pain can drive a person. Meanwhile, the massive ripple effects of this impending disaster threaten to destroy absolutely everyone in its wide path. Deacon Sharp, who genuinely believed he was finally moving forward into a peaceful, happy future with Taylor Hayes, is suddenly thrust violently into the dead center of a chaotic, inescapable storm. Sheila's shocking pregnancy announcement has already thrown his entire world into disarray, forcing him to navigate a minefield of lingering feelings, heavy commitments, and sudden fatherhood. Taylor Hayes, a world-renowned, highly respected psychiatrist, finds her vast professional expertise entirely, frustratingly useless in the face of Sheila's ultimate, biological trump card. Taylor must endure the agony of watching the man she loves be inextricably, permanently tied to her absolute worst enemy. But neither Deacon nor Taylor has any idea whatsoever that a far more insidious, hidden threat is lurking quietly in the shadows. They are bracing themselves for Sheila's usual, loud brand of chaos, completely unaware that the real, lethal danger is coming from a grieving, desperate woman who has entirely lost her grip on reality. As Carter Walton slowly pieces together the horrifying truth, he will face the ultimate test of his life, choosing between his sworn duty to the law and his desperate love for a wife who has become a monster in her pursuit of justice. The impending collision will leave Los Angeles forever scarred, a tragic